Welcome to the Off the Pitch podcast. Let's get started.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. So, Manchester United has been on one of the biggest, if not the biggest, spending sprees of the summer. But hang on, just a few months ago, their new owners were warning the club could literally run out of cash. So, what's really going on here? Let's break it down.
Let's just start with the headline number because it's a big one. £214 million. That's the mountain of cash that's allowed United to go out and buy a whole new front line, bringing in players like Benjamin Sesko, Matías Cunha, and Brian Mbeumo. And that really is the multi-million-pound question, isn't it? How on earth is this possible? Especially when the new co-owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, warned just months ago that the club could, and I quote, run out of cash. Well, the answer isn't simple. It lies in three key clues that reveal a really high-stakes financial strategy.
Okay, so clue number one. And this one isn't actually about the players coming in. It's all about a massive, and I mean massive, cost-cutting drive that's been happening behind the scenes.
And wow, when you look at the numbers, the turnaround is it's stark. In their latest quarterly results, you can see the club went from a £66 million operating loss a year ago to a small operating profit. That's a nearly £70 million swing. And believe me, that did not happen by accident.
So how did they do it? Well, a huge part of it was finally getting a grip on the wage bill. I mean, it plunged by 21% in a single quarter. For the whole upcoming season, that wage bill is projected to be £80 million lower than last year. That's huge.
And we're not just talking about trimming a little fat here and there. No, this was a full-on, ruthless overhaul. Up to 450 jobs were cut. Every single line of spending was put under the microscope. And think about it, just one move, loaning Marcus Rashford out, saved the club nearly 13 million quid in wages just for this season.
Okay, so saving money is one thing, but getting around the league's pretty strict spending rules, well, that's a whole other ballgame. And that brings us to our second clue. And honestly, this is the most crucial part of the whole puzzle. So, to get this next bit, you gotta understand the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules, or what everyone just calls PSR. These rules basically put a hard limit on how much money a club can lose over 3 years. And yeah, United was getting dangerously close to breaking them. And here, this is where United pulled a really clever move. It's almost like a financial shell game. For their official PSR math, they don't use the main public company's accounts. Nope, they use a UK-based subsidiary, Red Football Limited, which, surprise, surprise, reports way lower losses. And that little bit of accounting, it makes all the difference. It effectively just vaporizes over £111 million in costs from their PSR calculation. And boom, that's your headroom. That's the breathing room that suddenly makes this massive spending spree possible. It's a total game changer.
Right, so they've cut costs like crazy and they've played a blinder with the PSR rules. That's what opened the door to spend. But you still need actual, cold, hard cash to pay for these new players. Which leads us to our final and maybe most high-pressure piece of the puzzle, the urgent need to sell.
To make all this financial juggling work, United has to, absolutely has to sell players. And their focus is on this group that's been nicknamed the Bomb Squad. These are valuable assets who aren't in the manager's plans anymore, but who need to be sold to fund the new guys. And they are not messing around. They're playing hardball. With Alejandro Garnacho, for instance, United has slapped a firm £50 million price tag on him, knowing that Chelsea is very interested. Turning these players into pure profit isn't just a nice-to-have, it is mission critical.
But this is where it all gets really, really risky. Because United, historically, they are notoriously bad at selling players. It's a massive contrast to their rivals, clubs like Chelsea and Liverpool, who are absolute masters at generating huge sums from sales to fuel their own spending.
And the pressure to get this right is just immense. Because this £214 million summer isn't a one-off. It's piled on top of years and years of massive spending. The bills are stacking up, and cashing in on player sales is the only way out. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together.
When you put the three clues side by side, what you see is a really clear, but man, is it a risky strategy. It's really a three-pronged attack. First, you go absolutely nuclear on internal costs. Second, you use some very savvy accounting to create that all-important PSR headroom. And third, you place a massive bet that this is the year you finally crack the code on selling players for big money. And what a bet it is. I mean, these new signings, they're not just expensive for this summer. All three of them now rank among the most expensive players in the club's entire history. United isn't just betting on this season. They are truly staking the house on this new attack. And if you want a perfect picture of just how high stakes this whole thing is, look no further than the Rasmus Højlund situation. Signed for a whopping £72 million just 2 years ago, and now he's reportedly on the chopping block to make way for the new arrivals. It's a pretty ruthless example of the financial pressure they're under. So what you should really take away from all this is that Manchester United's summer spending isn't just some rich club throwing cash around. Not at all. It's a masterclass in financial gymnastics, a really calculated high-wire act to rebuild the team while staying just on the right side of the rules. But it leaves us with one final, provocative question, doesn't it? Is this aggressive, clever strategy the dawn of a brilliant new era for United? Or is this whole thing just a massive gamble, kicking an ever more expensive can down the road, with the financial reckoning waiting at the end?
Thanks for listening and subscribe for my channel.